Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Guys, I'm not sure the order that these videos are going to post, but yesterday we worked on my one son's Cherokee. Got the plugs, coils, intake manifold gasket changed. Kind of a big job for what it is. Time-wise, I think the two of us had, probably 4 hours into it. We did clean out his coolant reservoir tank. That was pretty dirty. We did not flush all of the coolant. We did, well, I should say he changed the oil. So it should be good to go. Took it for a test run, got her washed up. It's like a new truck, so he's happy. But now that he's gone, it's time to turn back to the razor. One thing I knew I had to do it. I just totally forgot about talking about it. This guy, clutch. We've got to tear apart the primary. The secondary is new last year. So I'm not sure when the GoPro shut off, but it did. Anyway, I knew I had to do this, but clutch maintenance. We got to clean and adjust the primary, make sure everything's good to go there. The secondary is new last year. We blew it up in the Hatfield McCoys last year. Mike from Aftermarket Assassins was super nice, fair, overnighted a clutch to us, secondary clutch to us. He had like 10 minutes to get the thing out the door, so that was super nice. It saved us 3 days of riding, so much appreciated to him. Anyway, today we're going to pull apart the primary and replace. I've got some titanium hardware for it, which should reduce the weight a little bit. I mean, this thing isn't a super fast machine, but I figured the hardware is old, might as well replace it, might as well get, decent stuff. So we're going to clean that up and get that back together. So here we go. All right, we're going to take off the fresh air intake into the clutch. That's just 2 5/16 bolts. And then we get a bunch of 8mm bolts to take off on the clutch cover, and it'll pop right off. Pretty simple, just some of them are awkward to get to. All right, so we got the cover off. Secondary clutch, primary clutch. Last year I had a problem with my arm sticking. So we're going to pull it off, take it to the bench, and we're going to inspect all this, get it all cleaned up, change these bolts, we have a new center bolt, and pretty much clean it, put it back together, and that's about it. So I'll get ready to pull this off and get back to you guys in a bit. All right, I already screwed up filming. I just, loosened this bolt. That's all I did. But I wanted to pause here and make sure. It took me, I don't know, 2 or 3 times before I actually got my primary and secondary aligned. It's kind of a pain in the butt. You basically are using your camera and you want to see to make sure this belt is centered in between the sheaves. And in order to do that, you've got these shims on this bolt. And when you pull this out, you can see I've got a bunch of shims in here. They're inside here. There they go. They're falling out. You want to make sure you have all of those shims intact and that you're not like leaving some behind. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through and align this dang thing all over again. And it's not that it's anything hard. It just takes a little bit of time, and I'd rather just think of it, make sure I have my shims in here correct now so that I can loosen up my secondary, because if you don't know, you're gonna take this guy like this and spin this out, and you can see my belt is going down. That's how you loosen up your secondary so that you can remove this belt. So anyway, I'm going to do that real quick and we'll go from there. All right, when you take these bolts off, There's a lot of, Mike from Aftermarket Assassins, a lot of clutch guys will tell you to put this in a clamp. You absolutely should. I'm just lazy and I've done it a million times, so I'm just going to kind of hold my force down, and I take a little bit at a time. So it's just definitely not a how you should do it. This is more of a how I do it. So do as I say, not as I do. All right, all the tension is kind of off. All right. Figured I'd put all the stuff in there. We're going to get a reading. So that's, I've zeroed it out with the cup on there. So we'll get a weight with all these fasteners in it once I put them in there, but I'm going to finish tearing this thing down. Before I do that, I just wanted to get that thing kind of at zero. All right, so now we're going to pull out this guy, pull off this guy, you don't want to lose your buttons. These are all kind of falling out anyway, but we're going to put these over there so we don't lose them all. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check to make sure my rollers and everything are moving freely. Don't take that for granted. I took clutch maintenance for granted 2 years ago. And basically what I did is, I'll show you exactly what I did. I went like this, oh yeah, they're good. And I forgot one. And the one I didn't move was seized up. And it was causing me problems. And when I say causing me problems, I mean like major problems. It was shifting hard out of park or neutral because the transmission was spinning at a higher RPM because the dang clutch wasn't working right. And it didn't want to go, so I was cramming it into gear, and eventually my shift cable broke on the trail. So we had to shift the damn thing with essentially a channel locks. I'd have to get out and shift it, and then we could go, and it was fine. I mean, mechanically there's no problem once you got it into gear, other than the clutch was obviously not working right. But anyway, moral of the story, do this shit right. So now I've got to get I don't remember what size Allen, and I believe that's a 8mm. We can probably, let me check. Looks like it's a 10mm. All right, so we're gonna pull off these bolts that are holding the arms to the clutch. The arms have weights in them, and that weight and the spring in combination with the spring is how you would tune the clutch. But I'm just taking it apart to clean it and replace the hardware. Wife came out, check on my progress. She'll never know how nice it is when she comes out to the shop to see how I'm doing, make sure, I haven't dropped, a machine on my head or anything like that. But I just like it when she comes out. She's definitely into the machine, so she wants to make sure we're maintaining it right, which includes, supporting when Brown Santa drops off parts. She doesn't get upset or anything like that. She just wants the machine to be in tip-top shape. All right, you can see all the dust and dirt that came off this thing. These are my bolts that hold my weights in. You can see all the rust and stuff getting in there. I have no doubt this is from us going in the mud. It could be from normal trail riding, I don't know. My wife really likes the mud, so that's probably what this is from. But this rust, this is what kind of screws you. Now, you could reuse these, no problem. You just take some steel wool, clean them up, and then you put them back in there with just a little bit of lube on there. I'm not going to reuse them because I got those titanium bolts. But what I am going to do is clean this guy up. Special attention, I'll clean inside all of these to make sure everything's moving freely. So I'm going to take some good old brake clean over to my sink over there and take care of it. Hands are dirty, not grabbing the camera. Trust me, I'll be back. I'm going to take one of these Scotch-Brite pads and clean up that sheath real quick. Okay, we're back. So I sprayed this down with brake clean. It's not, you know, 100% perfect. Got a little bit of dirt there, whatever. We'll get that cleaned up real quick. It doesn't need to be so clean that you could eat off it, but as that stuff builds up, it just throws it slightly out of balance. We are going to weigh all these old bolts. So I'm going to put all these in there. And this guy, we are at, I think you can see it there, 14 ounces. So let's try it again with the new stuff. So we're going to put all these in there. And we went from 14 ounces to 7.8 ounces. So that's a pretty big difference in rotating mass at the primary. I don't know if it's going to be like, I'm adding like maybe 73 horsepower at the rear wheels. Okay, maybe not 73. No, I don't really care about that. I just take it apart, clean everything up, put it back together with good stuff. That's kind of my motto. So with that, we'll kind of get started here. I cleaned out my weights. I guess I forgot the inside of these. For the first time in history, I ran out of brake cleaner. So I'm using gun scrubber, works good. For those that doubt me, there you go, look how clean that is. It's pretty good. All right, so we'll let those dry a minute. Also use a little bit of lube when I put it back together. So I'm going to take out, I need these guys, I need these. I don't need any of these yet, but I do need these 3 nuts. So how I do it, this is also a luber for my ARs. But it's just a needle luber, so I can get a little bit of oil on the inside of that. You don't want a lot. Oil's just going to attract dirt. But you want to get a little bit in there so that when you push this guy back in there, let me make sure this is going to want to travel free because, okay, there it goes. I know a few people who shit their pants when they saw me take the impact. These, Mike was probably one of them. Okay, these are, you know, obviously lock nuts and whatnot. They don't need to be like jammed on there super tight, but you just want them in there. All right, we're gonna put our buttons back in. Well, before this gets awkward for me to handle, see the X? Also see blue. I don't know if you can see it. You can see a little bit of blue, and you can see an X inside there. Guess what those have to do? Yes, they have to line up. So the X goes to the X, and that's just because that's the way it was balanced. We want everything to go back in the way it came. All right, we're just putting the clutch back together, putting the buttons on, making sure everything is you know, moving up and down freely, making sure I don't lose any buttons. I dropped one on the floor. I went and got it. I forgot to clean off the cover, so we're gonna clean that off, put everything back in. I got the washers in, got my springs in, and everything's, you know, going back together well. We will again push down, and I'm tightening the bolts. You should absolutely put this into a clamp. Don't do it this way. But I don't know. I've done it a few times, so, you know, of course I think I'm an expert. No, I don't. But anyway, she's ready to go. You want to be able to read the writing on the belt when you put it on. So Polaris. And all I did was washed my belt. No, I'm not kidding. Good old soap and water, washed my belt. If my wife wasn't home, I would have put it in the dishwasher and run it in the dishwasher. Is that necessary? Hell no. Do I do it? Yeah, if she's not home, I'll do it. She gets a little pissed off if I do it when she's home. Okay, clutch is back together. Primary, secondary, belt is tightened. You want the belt to ride just, you know, flush with the top of your secondary. That's running great. What I'm gonna do next is just start it. And when it's running, primary should spin, secondary should not spin. If the secondary is spinning, you got an issue. So I'm just gonna start it up real quick in park. This guy here shouldn't be spinning. All right, so she started spinning a little bit, but I think it was fine. Just needed to seat each other. It didn't take any force whatsoever for me to stop it. So I think we're good. I'm gonna put the cover back on, and I'm gonna call this guy a success. All right, we're just putting a little blue thread locker on the wheel spacer bolts. Putting that on. Again, I had some clearance issues in the front that, I don't know, I'm just going to try these. I've never run wheel spacers on this razor before. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to want them or not. I liked how narrow my machine was, but I'd rather my tie rods not be hitting my wheels as well. So we're going to try this first because it's quick and easy. If I don't like it, we'll come up with something different. All right, we are done. We got the clutch cleaned up. Got the wheel spacers. I put some wheel spacers on. As I told you guys, we're having some issues with rubbing on the tie rods. right here on the inner wheel. We got plenty of clearance now. Got some wheel spacers from Super ATV. Let me show you. I'll fire it up. Crank the wheel. You can see there's plenty of clearance. Plenty of room for activities now. So we're good there. Clutch is good. And for those who care, I did get my new stickers on. Everything looks all nicey nice. It'll be wrecked after this year because after we, have to power wash it and whatnot, just gets ruined. I did, before I had some like paint protective film over this, it just kind of looked like ass. I didn't like the way it looked, so I didn't put new on there, and I'm calling it good. So that wraps up this video. The only thing I need to do to the RZR now is, for Christmas I got a different camera mount for the roof. I am not gonna film like I did the last few trips, constant filming and whatnot. Nobody watched those videos. Nobody really got into them, and I mean, I enjoyed them, but they were a bitch to edit, so I don't want to do that. So anyway, I asked my kids for like a 3-point mount for my 360 camera, which I am going to take some videos of that. And maybe I'll have the camera set up, but it's got to be something cool and exciting that happens for me to put it in a video. Like I said, they just didn't get watched, and that's fine. We don't go riding to make videos. We just make videos while we ride type thing. So anyway, that'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Just wanted to say thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.